You know, every single second of every day, there is a silent, completely invisible war being fought inside your body. It's happening right now. And in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on the incredible, microscopic army that keeps you alive. We're talking about your immune system.
I mean, really think about that for a second. We are constantly bombarded. We breathe in pathogens, we eat them, we touch them. So how do we survive all that? How does our body mount this incredibly sophisticated, coordinated defense against these invaders, day in and day out without us even realizing it's happening?
Well, the story always begins with a breach. A pathogen, a virus, or a bacteria gets past our first line of defense, like our skin. And that triggers the first act of this internal drama, an immediate, all-out assault by the body's first responders. So you gotta understand, the immune system is really like two armies in one. First up, you've got the innate system. These are your guards on the wall, okay? They are always on patrol, ready to fight any intruder, like instantly. They're not super specific, they just recognize general bad guy patterns and attack. They are incredibly fast, but they don't learn and they have zero memory. Then you have the adaptive system. These are the elite special forces. They're slower to get going, but they are hyper-specific, designing weapons for one particular enemy. And critically, they remember every single battle they ever fight. Now, before any cells even get involved, our body has these amazing physical walls, like our skin and mucous membranes, just trying to keep invaders out. But when something inevitably gets through, that's when the innate system's cellular infantry hits the scene. We're talking about cells like macrophages, which are basically professional eating machines. They are on site within minutes, just engulfing pathogens to try and shut down the threat right away.
But here's the thing, that first, frantic battle, it often isn't enough to win the war, especially if the enemy is clever or there are just too many of them. To truly defeat a specific invader, the immune system needs intelligence. It has to know exactly what it's up against. And that requires a proper intel mission.
This intelligence gathering is the job of this incredible cell, the dendritic cell. I want you to think of it as a scout, right out there on the front lines. Its whole mission is to capture a piece of the invader, a little fragment called an antigen, and carry that vital intel away from the battlefield to get it analyzed.
So, after capturing a piece of the enemy, the dendritic cell goes on this really amazing journey. It leaves the chaos of the infection site, travels through this whole network of vessels called the lymphatic system, and makes its way to the nearest lymph node.
And the lymph node, this is the body's command and control center. It's not just a random bag of cells, it's this highly organized structure with specific zones for all its different troops. The dendritic cell, our scout, heads directly for a zone called the paracortex. Why? Because that's the T-cell zone, and it has an urgent intelligence briefing to deliver.
And it's right here, inside this bustling command center, that the most critical moment of the entire adaptive immune response happens. The intelligence brought in by that scout is about to be used to find and train the elite troops that can actually win this war, the T-cells. So, how exactly does the dendritic cell present its intel? It uses a special molecular platform called an MHC molecule. The easiest way to think of it is like a billboard on the cell surface. The dendritic cell chops up the pathogen it ate and puts a little piece of it on this MHC billboard for all the passing T cells to see and inspect.
And this quote just nails the concept. This is how our special forces, the T cells, can finally see the enemy. By inspecting these billboards, a naive T cell, one that's never fought before, can figure out if its unique receptor is a perfect match for this specific invader.
But just finding a match isn't enough. The body is way too smart to risk a catastrophic mistake, like attacking our own healthy cells. So to prevent that, activation requires a two-signal safety check. Signal 1 is the match, right? The T-cell receptor binding to that antigen billboard. But signal 2 is the confirmation, a danger signal from the dendritic cell that says, yes, this is a real threat. Without both signals, nothing happens. It's an absolutely critical failsafe. With both signals confirmed, it is a go. The system is activated. The one naive T-cell that made the match starts dividing like crazy, building an entire army of thousands of identical clones, all of them programmed to fight that one specific bad guy. And they turn into powerful effector cells, either helper T-cells, which are like the commanders, or cytotoxic T-cells, the direct killers.
So now the elite troops are trained, they're mobilized, and they leave the lymph node and head straight for the fight. It is time to unleash their highly specialized arsenal of weapons.
The helper T cells, the commanders, play a super important role. They have to find and activate the B cells.
A B cell that has also recognized the invader gets this final go signal from a helper T cell. And this transforms it into a plasma cell, which is an absolute antibody-producing factory. We're talking thousands of antibody molecules every single second. It's wild.
And antibodies are basically precision-guided missiles. Each one is this cool Y-shaped protein. The tips of the wire are the variable region, and it's like a custom-made key that will only fit one lock, that specific antigen. The stem of the Y is the constant region, and its job is to act like a big red flag, signaling other parts of the immune system and yelling, "Hey, the enemy is over here, come get it."
So these antibody missiles do a few really powerful things. They can neutralize pathogens directly, basically gumming them up so they can't infect our cells. They can also activate a system of proteins called complement that can literally punch holes in bacteria. But maybe the most important job is something called opsonization. That's when they coat a pathogen, making it look absolutely delicious to those macrophage eating machines we talked about earlier.
At the exact same time all this is happening, that other army of special forces, the cytotoxic T cells, is on the move. They're patrolling our tissues, inspecting the MHC billboards on all of our cells. And if they find one of our own cells displaying the enemy antigen, well, that means the cell has been compromised. The cytotoxic T cell then does its job. It kills our own infected cell to destroy the pathogen's factory and stop the infection dead in its tracks.
So, after days or maybe weeks, this whole coordinated attack from antibodies and T cells wins the battle, and the infection is cleared. But honestly, the most remarkable part of this entire story is that the adaptive immune system never, ever forgets an enemy.
After the fight is over, most of those B and T cell clones die off. It's just not efficient to keep them all. But a crucial few stick around, and they become long-lived memory cells. And this changes everything. The first time you encounter a pathogen, the whole process is slow and you get sick. But the second time you see it, the memory response is so fast and so powerful, the invader gets wiped out before it can even gain a foothold. This, right here, is the basis of all immunity and how vaccines work. These memory cells are the veterans of your immune system. You've got way more of them. They're much easier to activate, and they're positioned all around your body, ready to respond instantly. It's the reason why diseases like chickenpox usually only make you sick once. Your memory cells provide this vigilant, lifelong protection against that one specific enemy.
And that's our tour of the immune system's incredible war machine. You've got scouts, commanders, killers, and veterans all working to protect you every single day. But it does raise a final, pretty provocative thought. What happens when this powerful, precise system misidentifies the enemy? What happens when it mistakes self for other and turns all those devastating weapons against our own body? Well, that's the story of autoimmunity, and that's a topic for another day.